What's up everyone? Welcome to TIKI Talks. I'm Matt Maxwell, I'm the marketing manager for Starboard Wing, and today I'm joined by Sam Clark.
Hey, I'm Sam, product designer at Starboard. I'm joining Matt here today to talk about the Viva, which is an exciting new project. Our first Starboard wings coming to market.
Okay, so let's jump straight into it. Who is the Viva actually for?
Yeah, so we set out with the Viva. The goal was to design a wing that's kind of a great all-rounder. A wing for everyone to use that's great for all conditions, all disciplines, which is actually a surprisingly challenging task, essentially. Yeah. We tried to find those happy mid-grounds with the wing being nice and stable, easy to use, powerful on the low end, but not unstable when you get overpowered. So we're really happy with kind of the Viva as the core of our range, that kind of do-it-all wing.
Yeah.
It's also matching that price point that's a challenging thing in the market today. We see wings on the extreme high, like pushing the limits, but it's unaffordable for guys trying to get into the sport. And sometimes those super cheap wings maybe aren't meeting the performance that they need. So we've tried to strike that balance here, offering the best tech we can, but also matching that price point that people can afford and get into the sport.
Okay, so we know who the Viva is for, but what makes it stand out? Like what makes it so different and what makes it feel so different?
Perfect, yeah. So we packed loads of new features in this year, sort of lots of technology and innovation that we've kind of tried to cram in here, while also matching that price point. So firstly, the big change here is the materials. We're using a range of canopy and leading edge materials. So we use Ultra X in the trailing edge of the canopy, which is a laminate material. This makes the leech of your wing super durable, so you don't get it bagging out, stretching, starting to flap over time. It's also very puncture resistant. So if you ever put hit your foil on the wing, then it's less likely to puncture through, and if it does, then it's also more resistant to the tearing over time. So really thought about the placement here in the wingtip. This is really common for some of the guys to pull the sail onto their foil. It's actually one of the most common places to put your foil through is over here.
Exactly.
So that was the idea behind that kind of placement and the extension up there. In the middle here, we've got our good old classic woven. It's a code 85. So this is kind of like a mid-weight woven. Kind of give that nice responsive, it's kind of almost like a suspension feel to the center of the canopy. And then in the front here, we've got a 55 gram. So in the middle here, it's 85. Up the front here, it's 55. So that's 55 grams per meter squared. So it's significantly lighter, a little bit stretchier, which actually makes this front of the canopy, gives it that little bit of suspension and really helps create a clean profile in the front of the wing. And that's something we've found actually makes the wing very powerful, having that front of the wing a little bit softer. But this bit of the canopy also has quite low stress on it. So you don't really have to worry about the durability side of that part of the canopy over time. And we found that this balance actually gives the best performance ratio from what we found over time.
Yeah. And I think, when I was testing this wing, I felt it has quite a forward pulling or forward drive. Yeah. Would you say that's from using lighter in the front and stiffer in the rear, or what is the reason for that?
Yeah, exactly. So the materials here are playing a part in that. Also, obviously the shape of the canopy is a big player. So we're using quite powerful profiles throughout. So that creates that forward drive. Where we shift the draft of the profiles and play around with that really affects that forward drive feeling. So we've kind of dialed that in to create a nice balance feel where it's not too hard on your front arm where the arm's getting really tired, but also that you're getting a really nice feeling of like balanced in your hands, but also quite a direct feeling. Sometimes wings can start to feel a bit unbalanced or unintuitive, but we found that balance where it's really intuitive and forward driving. Even in the lighter winds, you can really feel that it wants to go and help you get on foil that little bit earlier.
Okay, very cool.
The other thing really to talk about here is also the materials on our leading edge. We've mixed it up a bit this year. We're using our Dacron for the majority of it, but the big thing to talk about, which you'll probably see over here, is on the wingtip. We're actually now using the Ultra X, which you see in the trailing edge. So this is something we actually use in the canopy also, but we've brought it into the wingtip here because it's a laminate material, actually has sufficient stiffness to use in that last segment there, and that's significantly now dropped the swing weight of the wing. So you kind of get a much more agile feel of the wing, especially if you're doing something like spinning the wing or passing it over your head, even jumping and some freestyle. You really notice the difference of having less weight when it gets further away from you at those wingtips.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting to have on this new model. It's definitely a first that we've seen here, using that material on our.
And I think edges. I also noticed, compared to other freeride wings I've seen, the wingtip is super skinny as well, I think. Is that something you guys have been working on?
Yeah, that's it. So obviously wingtip design, even in like aeroplanes and everything, that is super important for the efficiency. So we've tried to really streamline that as much as we can. So having a finer wingtip, smaller diameters, actually really improves your efficiency on the water. So that was something we played around with, and yeah, actually we've been able to drop it down to be quite a small diameter. While also considering you're always fighting that stiffness. So we've really tried to keep the stiffness there in the wingtips, as well as dropping weight and also, like you say, diameter, which creates a nice light wingtip as well as an efficient one.
Yeah. Okay, so we spoke a bit about the canopy, but what is your take on windows? I see you guys do have windows on this model.
Yeah, perfect. So we really feel windows are important as a safety feature. On the Viva, we've kind of strike that balance between visibility as well as performance. So minimizing the windows where we can, but also keeping that visibility as high as we can as well. So the placement here, we've kind of tried to open up the center as well as out to the sides. So you get that field of view, but not overdoing it to the point where it's losing the performance of the wing. The positioning as well here is quite important, being close to the seam lines as you see on the front here, really trying to keep away from those important areas so we don't lose any performance, but like I say, maximizing that safety and visibility.
Okay, and then jumping over to the valve, I see some new valves there.
Yeah, so perfect. So we're using kind of a push pin valve here. So it's very common what you see in other water sport disciplines as well. So our SUP Rangers uses a very similar valve, same pump and adapter will get that. If you don't have a pump that works for this kind of valve, we ship an adapter that will fit on most pumps anyway. Okay. So you should have no problems there. The nice thing about this is we've actually separated our leading edge and our strut. So you'll see that actually these are two chambers. Like we spoke about earlier, the leading edge diameter is bigger than the strut. So that means in the leading edge we put less PSI and in the strut we put more. By separating the chambers and using two valves, that essentially allows us to tailor the pressures in both, which has allowed us to push that performance of dropping the strut diameter and increasing the leading edge diameter that we have here. Other nice things about this valve is actually you can trim the pressure. So one click tap like this will drop the pressure down. So you can tune it a little bit if the wing's feeling a bit too stiff on the water. We found lower leading edge PSIs helps with the low end of the wing. Whereas when you're pushing the top end of the wing, you obviously want it to be right up to that max PSI. Okay. So light winds, maybe you drop 1 or 2 PSI. Strong winds, you're right on that pressure that we recommend.
Okay, so you can actually adjust on the water just with a simple click.
Yeah, exactly. So just a simple click. And then when you come in from the session, want to fully deflate, it's a push and twist. So you push the pin in and twist, and then that lets all the air out. And then you just got to remember before you go out next time, lift that little pin up and you're good to go.
Okay, so in terms of accessories, we've obviously got the boom, but I see it also comes with the leash. Does that come standard on the boom?
Exactly. So this year we're offering with a waist leash. So the waist leash we've kind of found for us is the magic mix. So keeps the leash out of the way, keeps your hands free, as well as if you've got to tow the wing or paddle with it, your hands are free. And then on the safety side as well, you've not got something tied to your arm that occupies it. So for us, this is kind of a good balance. You've got a Dyneema line, it's nice and lightweight. It's kind of good for all sizes. So this can be adjusted for your bigger guys as well as your smaller, even down to like kids. And yeah, we ship standard with a leash because it's super important. It's the safety equipment for the wing. If you're not using a leash, then it might be a danger to you leaving the wing as well as a danger to the other people while it's blowing away. So it's super important. Looking at the buckle here, we've really picked a super sturdy buckle. Sometimes you'll see buckles like this that if you tread on it once, it might crack and split, and or if it gets a bit of a hard yank, it might crack down the side somewhere. We've used quite a well-known supplier who makes really good plastic parts like this, and also tested this in sandy, salty conditions on those horrible days when it's blowing crazy wind. And we know this thing's going to hold up, so you can kind of trust this leash that you're in safe hands, and your wing's not going anywhere anytime soon. So the waist leash, we kind of kept it simple. It's a really important safety device. And the booms is more a customization option.
Personal
so you can really, you can set your price point. If you're happy to pay a little bit more and want to push that performance of your wing, you can upgrade to a carbon. If you're on more of a budget, you can bring it down a little, take the aluminium, and maybe in a couple years time you want to go back and upgrade to the carbon, you can always do that. So.
Yeah, and I guess that's also nice, you know, the Viva being centerpiece of the range, then it kind of caters to both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, precisely.
Cool. So we spoke about the Viva being an all-round do-it-all wing, but where are people really going to love this wing the most? Where does it excel?
Yeah, so I guess if we had to pick a point where it excels, it's that flagged out riding. So with the neutral handle and that flagged out stability, it really excels in the downwind and wave riding. But still, it really excels in all those other disciplines. But if you really had to focus, I'd say the wave guy, the downwind guy is going to be very happy. But if you're that guy who wants to do a bit of everything, bit of freestyle, bit of wave riding, bit of downwinding, or if you're just getting going and want something that you're not going to cap out on, and is going to carry you right through your journey of winging, then this maybe is something to have a look at.
Okay, so for the lazy listeners, like if you had to just sum it up in a quick sentence, what is the Viva? Who is it for?
Yeah, tough one there, but the Viva is kind of the all-rounder, center of our range, easy to use, intuitive, like got that range of performance, and kind of striking that balance between performance and price point.
The guys in the team have packed in some really amazing technology without jumping to that next price point. Really light and playful wing that you could take with you on any trip. You know, if you had to pack one wing, this would kind of be your do-it-all wing. So yeah, thanks Sam for joining us.
For sure,
and,
no problem.
Looking forward to checking out the rest of the range, and looking forward to hearing your feedback, guys. Just go check it out at your local store, check it out on our website, and yeah, frothing for more. Cheers.
Skadoosh.